Good guy, that Mike Garafolo. Here's Mike Garafolo to talk about, well, another trade involving a big-name wide receiver, Mike. Kind of the rich getting richer. But in this case, even though the Kansas City Chiefs are undefeated, this is an offense that really needed a boost, didn't it, Mike?
It did. I mean, we were talking about that. And so the Chiefs certainly are not blind to the fact that they're not a perfect offense. I mean, I don't want to relate it necessarily just to fantasy football, but look at Patrick Mahomes' numbers and the fact that he has become a fantasy afterthought because they're a different kind of team. They're a defensive-oriented, run-the-ball type of team right now, and they need to add that other element. I mean, it's easy to sit there and say, well, we won the last 2 Super Bowls, and we traded away Tyreek Hill. We still won the Super Bowl. But no, Brett Veach and the Kansas City Chiefs front office said we need that extra element, particularly after losing Rashee Rice. They needed a big body receiver, a big catch radius receiver, a guy with great hands, and they got that in DeAndre Hopkins. In fact, Hopkins had no drops a couple of years ago, and then actually wrote on the team wall when he was with the Houston Texans, one of his goals. Everybody puts their goals on the wall and wrote 0 drops this upcoming season again. And somebody took a picture of that. I reported it. I sent the screenshot out, and he had 3 drops in the first game, which was a complete rarity. So anytime he's had drops, it's been my fault. But outside of that, yeah, the Chiefs saying that this is really not the kind of receiver that Patrick Mahomes has ever had. He's had some smaller guys. He hasn't really had that big, reliable guy, at least not consistently. So they're hopeful that DeAndre Hopkins is going to be that guy. It wasn't about just like, can we get any receiver? It's who fits our offense. And they feel really good about Hopkins. And when you talk to people around the league, which I have today, they say that guy's still got some really good football left. Just hasn't worked out in Tennessee for a variety of reasons, quarterback play, scheme, and just the overall direction of the team. So Hopkins wanted a fresh start, it sounds like, and he certainly got one with the 2-time defending champs.
And, Mike, if we keep the trend going, are signs pointing to Cooper Kupp of the Rams being the next receiver to be traded? And could it just be the first of a possible fire sale in L.A.?
Potentially. I mean, they don't have a whole lot of parts to sell off. I know that there's been rumblings about Matthew Stafford. There's really nothing going on with Matthew Stafford. As for Cooper Kupp, it might depend on the outcome of the game Thursday night against the Minnesota Vikings because the Rams are still in the thick of an NFC West race that nobody is really running away with. And so if they win this game, from my understanding, because we were talking about this before, if they had won this last game against the Raiders and then won the game against the Vikings, that would really rein in their desire to trade Cooper Kupp or anybody really and potentially add a piece, Jay. So we're going to be keeping an eye on this one because there's a big number for Cooper Kupp this year and next year, $20 million. So, you know, a team to take on a guy who's been banged up and match the asking price that the Rams have right now, it's going to be a tough match. And again, if the Rams wind up winning this game, which I believe you can see here on TSN.
That's right.
I don't know. I'm cutting a promo before I even check. Oh, I got it right. I see. I didn't even check the programming grid. So I'm just cutting that promo for you mid-segment. You don't even have to do it now at the end of the segment.
I'm just going to throw it out. Here it is. Rams-Vikings Thursday. It's gone. Forget about it. Let's talk quarterbacks, Mike, because Tua's back. Tua's back. He's practicing with the Finns. The question is he actually going to play this Sunday?
This appears to be the case, and I know Mike McDaniel, I believe his analogy was you don't just hop on a bike and enter the Tour de France, so he's got to work his way up, which they are doing this week with Tua Tagovailoa, but that was the expectation coming into the week as long as he has no setbacks. You heard those comments from Tua the other day regarding concussions and the risk and all that stuff, and clearly he is willing to make a gamble, a risk, because he said that there's a lot of gray area when it comes to repeat concussions and long-term effects, and this is what he loves to do. He loves to play football, so he's going to do that. He's going to take the chance and put that risk on the line to do what he loves and continue to do it, and certainly the doctors are not standing in the way, so Tua Tagovailoa making his return to the field. Meanwhile, we've got Caleb Williams with the Bears and Jayden Daniels with the Commanders. We were hoping for a matchup of number 1 and number 2. We'll see. For Jayden Daniels, it's really, truly up in the air now with that rib injury that he's got going on. He's going to have to do some practice work by the end of the week. So my educated guess is that he is going to do some work in practice on Friday. It's going to be limited, and then he'll be questionable for the game, and they'll see how he is leading up to game time. So we'll continue to report that out throughout the course of the week. And then you got Andy Dalton. Thankfully, a scary situation with him and his family getting into that car accident, jamming his thumb, or spraining his thumb, I should say. So Bryce Young going to get the start for the Carolina Panthers. We'll see if this little reset can help him. I'm a little skeptical. I don't think this has been long enough of a layoff, and not much has changed in Carolina. The team still is not great, so I don't know that Bryce Young all of a sudden is going to start to light this thing up for the Carolina Panthers. But good for him because, as Dave Canales said, he has been engaged. He has been a positive presence down there from what I understand, and he's done everything he possibly could after the initial disappointment of being benched.
Mike, you want to do another promo? Or let's bring up the promo. All right, who do you think's going to win this Thursday nighter, Mike? Who do you have?
I like the Rams. I think the Rams have got a shot to go on a little bit of a run here. That's why I'm skeptical about the Kupp trade and why they would even want to do that. But you can catch it all here on TSN. Kickoff at 8:15 p.m. Eastern, right here on TSN. The Rams, the previously undefeated Vikings. Catch it all here. Thursday night football action. It's No, wait, that was a different sport. Sorry.
What about this one? How about this show? Look at these two. Oh, you don't have this one? Okay, never mind. It's us.
I don't have a return. Sorry.
Okay. Well, it's me and Luke. I've got a helmet on. I've got a football. Oh. And Luke's looking over my shoulder. And I look kind of like the opposite of a football player, which is really what I am. So it's appropriate.
I don't know. I think it sounds sexy, Jay.